When your world begins to feel uncertain, when everything around you starts shaking, and the path forward seems covered in fog, it's not always a sign that things are falling apart. Sometimes it's the very signal that a miracle is approaching. Life has a rhythm, a divine timing that doesn't always align with your plans. He always sends signals. Quiet whispers, subtle shifts, divine interruptions that prepare your soul for the breakthrough that's about to come. When you feel restless, stuck, or delayed, it's often a spiritual signal that God is preparing you for a new season or breakthrough. The pressure and pause are not punishment, they're preparation. But this is one of the hardest truths to embrace, because in our human understanding, discomfort often feels like failure and delays feel like denial. Yet from a divine perspective, both are sacred tools used by God to align us with His perfect timing. The problem is we live in a fast-paced world that values instant results, immediate answers, and constant movement. So when things slow down or stop altogether, our first instinct is to panic, question, or assume we've done something wrong. However, spiritual discomfort and divine delays are some of the clearest signals that God is doing something deeper within us. You might find yourself in a season where nothing feels right anymore. What used to fulfill you now feels empty. The routines you once loved have become draining. You sense there's more, but you don't know what it is or how to reach it. That inner discomfort is not just emotional or psychological, it's spiritual. It's God stirring your spirit, letting you know that you've outgrown this level and He's calling you into something greater. But before He takes you into it, He lets you feel the restlessness. Why? Because if you were too comfortable, you would never move. You would cling to what's familiar, even if it's no longer fruitful. So God allows the unease to rise, not to torment you, but to loosen your grip on what was and prepare your heart for what is to come. Then comes the delay. You've been praying, believing, doing all the right things, yet nothing seems to happen. Doors remain closed, answers don't come, opportunities vanish. It feels like God is silent, but in His silence, He is still speaking. He is still working. He's not punishing you. He's positioning you. A delay in the natural is often a divine appointment in disguise. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not going to. God often uses delays to build your character, stretch your faith, and deepen your trust. Because what He's preparing to give you is bigger than what you imagined, and He wants to make sure you're strong enough to carry it. When you plant a seed in the ground, there's a season where you see nothing, no sign of life, just dirt. But underneath the soil, roots are forming, the seed is breaking open, and life is beginning to stir. That hidden process is essential for growth. The delay is never wasted. The silence is never empty. God is doing His most important work beneath the surface of your life. And when the time is right, the breakthrough comes, not just suddenly, but perfectly. Discomfort and delay are heaven's announcements that you're on the brink of something transformational. They are signals that God hasn't forgotten you. He's just taking time to prepare the miracle and prepare you for the miracle. The pressure you feel is the stretching of your spirit to match the size of the blessing that's on the way. So instead of fighting the discomfort or resenting the delay, lean into them. Ask God what He's trying to teach you in the pause. Seek his voice in the silence. Trust that he's moving even when you can't see it, because in God's divine order, the waiting room is never a wasted room. It's where strength is renewed, vision is clarified, and miracles are made ready. God often onions your relationships before a blessing. People may walk away, conversations dry up, and connections that once felt vital begin to fade. At first, it can feel like rejection, like loss, like something is going wrong. But in truth, this is one of the clearest signs that something big is coming. When God is about to elevate you or bring a miracle into your life, he often starts by making room. And one of the first places he clears out is your circle. Because not everyone can go where you're going. Not everyone has the capacity to handle the weight of the blessing that is coming. And not everyone is meant to see the next chapter of your life. There are people who are good for a season, but that season is over. There are relationships that once helped you grow, but now hold you back. And while your heart may still be attached to the memories, God sees the truth of their future impact on you. He knows that if you keep dragging people who aren't assigned to your destiny, they'll become a burden instead of a blessing. So he removes them, sometimes quickly, sometimes quietly, sometimes painfully. It may come as a betrayal, a falling out, a sudden distance, or just a slow fading away. But however it happens, it's not an accident. It's divine strategy. It's in these moments of unexpected separation that God is protecting your promise. He's preserving your peace. He's creating space for something better, something deeper, something purer. But the hard part is, we often try to hold on. We chase the ones God is removing. We try to rekindle what he's letting burn out. We mourn what we think we lost, not realizing that what left us wasn't the blessing. It was the barrier to the blessing. When you begin to see people exit your life, instead of asking, why did they leave? Start asking, what is God making room for? Because his subtractions are just as powerful as his additions. Many times, your miracle is delayed because you're surrounded by people who aren't meant to witness it. God doesn't want them to receive credit for something they didn't contribute to. He doesn't want you to share your divine reward with someone who would only pollute it. So he isolates you, not to punish you, but to protect you. Some of the greatest blessings are birthed in solitude. And while the silence of lost relationships may be loud, it's also sacred. It's in that quiet space that God whispers your next instructions. It's in that isolation that your discernment grows. And it's in the emptiness that new fullness begins to form. You must trust that God knows who belongs in your next level. If someone walks away from you, believe that it's part of God's plan. If a door closes on a connection, believe that it wasn't essential to your destiny. God doesn't just give miracles, he surrounds them with protection. And one of the ways he protects your miracle is by removing those who can't carry the weight of it with you. Letting go doesn't mean, it means you're bold enough to believe that what's ahead is greater than what's behind. So when people leave, let them. When conversations die, let them. When doors close, thank God for the clarity. Because when God starts pruning your relationships, it means he's getting ready to elevate your life. The blessing is too big for baggage. The miracle is too sacred for mixed motives. Trust the pruning, embrace the silence, and believe that the emptiness you feel today is the clearing ground for something far more powerful tomorrow. When you face intense opposition or chaos in your life, it often feels overwhelming and discouraging. You might wonder why everything seems to be falling apart at once, why every step forward is met with resistance, or why the challenges keep piling up. But what if I told you that this chaos and resistance are actually signs that you are on the brink of a breakthrough? That what feels like the enemy attacking you is really the final battle before a big victory. The truth is, resistance is often the universe's way of testing your readiness for the blessing God has planned for you. It is a signal that something powerful is about to happen. The reason resistance feels so strong right before a miracle is because that is when the enemy fights hardest. When you're about to cross into a new season, when you're ready to step into a higher level, the forces that want to keep you stuck will intensify their efforts. They want to keep you fearful, doubtful, and defeated. But this resistance is not random. It is a targeted attack on your faith and your future. The good news is this chaos is temporary and serves a divine purpose. It forces you to dig deeper, to hold on tighter, and to strengthen your trust in God even when the situation seems impossible. Chaos can come in many forms. Confusion in your mind, conflicts in your relationships, setbacks in your plans, or unexpected storms that disrupt your peace. But instead of seeing these as signs of failure, begin to see them as signals that God is preparing something great. The greater the challenge, the greater the miracle that is about to unfold. It's like the pressure that forms a diamond. Without the intense heat and force, there is no transformation. So, when life feels chaotic, remember that this is not the end. It is the refining process, the shaking that separates what is real from what is false, the test that proves your faith. During these times, your response matters most. You can let the chaos defeat you, or you can let it refine you. You can give in to fear and doubt, or you can hold on to hope and believe in the unseen. Miracles often come to those who refuse to quit, who keep moving forward even when the path is unclear, and who trust God's timing over their own understanding. The moment before the miracle is the moment you must push through the resistance with unwavering faith. It is also important to recognize that sometimes God allows chaos to disrupt your life so that He can redirect you. When things fall apart, it may be because something better is on the way. The resistance might be breaking down old walls and clearing the way for new doors to open. It might be shaking loose false comforts and exposing what needs to change. In the middle of the storm, God is working behind the scenes, orchestrating a miracle that will bring healing, restoration, and victory. So when you find yourself surrounded by opposition and confusion, don't lose heart. Understand that this is a sign you are close to a breakthrough. The resistance means you are on the edge of a miracle, and God is with you every step of the way. Keep your eyes fixed on Him, not on the obstacles. Trust that the chaos is temporary, but the miracle is eternal. Stand firm in your faith, knowing that the battle belongs to the Lord, and your victory is assured. The path through resistance is not easy, but it is necessary. It prepares you to receive the miracle fully, with a heart and spirit ready to embrace the new season. So embrace the chaos as a signal from God, a divine announcement that your miracle is near. Hold on to your faith. Push through the opposition and get ready to step into the blessing that has been waiting for you all along. A deep longing for more, a growing sensitivity to God's presence, and a hunger that can't be satisfied by the things of this world are powerful signs that something greater is on the horizon. This spiritual hunger and heightened awareness often emerge before a big miracle, serving as a signal from God that your spirit is being prepared for what's coming. It's like your soul is waking up, stretching and craving a deeper connection, a stronger faith, and a clearer understanding of God's plan for your life. This hunger is not random, it's intentional, and it's essential. When you begin to feel this hunger, you might notice that the things that used to satisfy you no longer do. Material possessions, temporary pleasures, or even relationships that once brought comfort now feel empty. This is because God is redirecting your desires. He is inviting you to move beyond the surface and reach for something eternal and life-changing. This spiritual appetite grows stronger as you become more aware of God's voice and presence in your life. You start to recognize His guidance more clearly, sense His nearness more intimately, and hunger for His wisdom and peace more deeply. This heightened sensitivity is also a sign that your spirit is aligning with God's timing and purpose. When your heart begins to tune into the divine frequency, you become more receptive to the subtle signals God sends. Whether it's a verse in the Bible that speaks directly to your situation, a sudden insight during prayer, or a nudge to take a step of faith, your spiritual senses sharpen, preparing you to receive and recognize the miracle when it arrives. This period of spiritual hunger and sensitivity is God's way of ensuring that you are not only ready for the blessing, but that you will also fully appreciate and steward it well. During this time, it's important to nurture this hunger. Feed your spirit with prayer, meditation, worship, and the Word of God. Surround yourself with things that elevate your soul and draw you closer to Him. Resist the temptation to settle for less or to numb your hunger with distractions. Instead, embrace this season of longing as a sacred preparation, a holy space where your faith is deepened and your relationship with God is strengthened. Spiritual hunger can also bring discomfort because it exposes areas in your life that need healing or transformation. You may find yourself confronting old wounds, unhealthy patterns, or doubts that you've ignored. This is all part of the refining process. God uses this hunger to purify your heart, remove what is not of Him, and shape you into the person who can carry the miracle He's about to release. It's not always easy, but it's necessary. The deeper your hunger, the more profound the miracle. It's also important to understand that this hunger is a gift, not a curse. It keeps you moving forward, seeking more of God's presence and purpose. It prevents complacency and complacent faith. Without this hunger, you might remain stuck in old ways, missing the newness God wants to bring into your life. So when you feel this spiritual craving, don't resist it or try to silence it. Instead, lean into it with expectation and hope. Know that this hunger is a sign that God is at work inside you, preparing you for a breakthrough that will satisfy your deepest longings. In essence, spiritual hunger and sensitivity before a big miracle are like a divine invitation, a call to prepare your heart, sharpen your spiritual senses, and deepen your trust. They are God's way of waking you up to the incredible things He is about to do. So when you feel this stirring inside, be encouraged. Your miracle is near and your spirit is ready. Keep seeking, keep believing, and keep hungry for the presence of God, because He always rewards those who earnestly seek Him with a blessing beyond their greatest dreams. When you encounter closed doors and find that your desires begin to change, It can feel confusing and even disappointing. You might have had plans laid out in your mind, dreams you've been chasing, or habits you've grown comfortable with, only to see them suddenly slip away or lose their appeal. But these moments of closed doors and shifting desires are not random setbacks. They are divine God uses these changes to steer you away from what no longer serves your highest good and guide you towards something better, something far more aligned with His perfect plan for your life. It's important to understand that a closed door doesn't mean God has abandoned you or that your prayers have gone unanswered. Rather, it often means that God is protecting you from something that could harm you or keep you stuck. Sometimes we ask for things that are not right for us or that would limit the blessings waiting for us down the road. When God closes a door, He is redirecting your path to lead you toward a greater blessing, even if it's not immediately visible. The pain or frustration you feel in these moments is temporary, but the outcome is designed to bring long-term peace, growth, and joy. Shifting desires are a natural part of this process. As God redirects you, He also changes your heart. What once seemed important begins to lose its grip. Old dreams, habits, or comforts no longer satisfy you because your spirit is evolving. This can be unsettling because it feels like losing a part of yourself. But in reality, it's a sign that God is doing a deep work inside you, preparing you to receive something new and better. Your changing desires are God's way of aligning your will with His, so that when the new opportunity comes, you're ready and eager to embrace it fully. Sometimes this process means letting go of what's familiar and stepping into the unknown. That leap of faith can be scary because it requires trust. Trust that God's plan is better than your own and that He knows what's best for you even when you don't. But it's in that surrender and that willingness to release old desires and accept new directions that miracles begin to unfold. Closed doors clear the way for open ones. They remove distractions and detours so you can walk steadily on the path God has prepared for you. It's also important to recognize that closed doors and changed desires teach you patience and perseverance. Waiting can be difficult, especially when you don't understand why your plans aren't working out. But God uses this time to build your character, deepen your faith, and increase your resilience. These qualities are essential for carrying the miracle He is preparing. When the right door finally opens, you will walk through with confidence and strength, knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. In this season, it's crucial to remain attentive to God's voice. Closed doors invite you to listen more closely, pray more earnestly, and seek His guidance more intentionally. Ask Him to reveal the lessons in the delay and the reasons behind the change in your heart. Trust that He is working all things together for your good, even when it doesn't feel that way. Your openness to His leading will make all the difference in how smoothly you transition into the next phase of your life.